because you clicked on this video, I do hope that you like, or let's say love, chocolate in general as much as I do, or at least you love to smell like gourmand and sweet and yummy chocolate just as much as I do. So right now I have so many chocolatey, cacao, cocoa perfumes that I will show you today. Some of them just have a cacao or chocolate note in there that elevates the perfume or makes it more round or powdery or sweet, but it's not really focused on the chocolate or the cacao. But then I have ones like this one right here that are quite centered around the chocolate or cacao cocoa note. So this is Choco Musk by Rehab, which I think is quite a cult classic when it comes to chocolate perfumes. This is extremely cheap. And this was the reason why I thought, okay, I have to make a chocolate themed video because I just love this perfume so much and the feeling it gives me. So of course the fragrance notes only say chocolate and musk, and the main accords are gourmand, sweet, creamy, oriental and powdery. And this is just my perfect cozy perfume. You have to get over the first seconds because it is not a luxurious niche perfume, but then it settles down to the most cozy, almost sugared musk. It reminds me of the sugared musk you get in Maud Vanilla from Ariana Grande, or the Silk Santal by Kyse, or even the vanilla one. And I also get the tingles in my nose from this one, just as I get it from Kyse vanilla perfumes. So not too sure what that means. I have no idea who the perfumer was, but this is so cozy. It's definitely chocolatey and musky. It is quite powdery to me and not as sweet as you would maybe think. It's definitely also giving me a big vanilla vibe, but more like an extract of it. Not very sweet, just like the extract or more the vanilla pod. Yeah, it's so nice. And on my skin, it has a very good performance. This was so inexpensive. I do not like how this looks. It leaks and everything, so it's not going to give you the luxury vibes if you look at the bottle, but the scent itself is so beautiful. It has a good performance and could easily be in a niche perfume house bottle. The next one I want to share with you is called, I think, Oui Plus by Kyse Perfumes, which is, I think, a perfume house from the US, and it's quite difficult to get here, but I did get a sample at least to try it, and let's see if I can get it on this paper strip. Oh my god. Oh, okay, spilled it all over me, all over the floor, all over my hands. Very good, but at least, oh my god, I love the scent so much. So I think this will be my scent of the day, I guess. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. So the brand is quite affordable, which is very nice, and they are fixed on gourmand scents. So a lot of their perfumes smell very edible and gourmand and yummy. I've tried several of them, and just like other niche house, like very indie niche houses, a lot of them have beautiful gourmand scents or ideas for gourmand scents, but the execution a lot of times is that the top note you get is exactly what you wanted, but then as it dries down, it has this very synthetic, powdery scent to it, and I get it from a lot of perfumes. I've tried so many gourmands from niche perfume houses, and a lot of them smell so good the first 5 to 15 minutes, and then afterwards they smell pretty much alike. And this one has the same thing going on, but not as much, which is why I'm going to share it with you today. But especially in the beginning, this is just, oh my god, so addictive. This has main accords of gourmand, sweet, spicy, resinous, and creamy, with notes of wholemeal biscuit, cocoa absolute, coffee, marshmallow, patchouli, styrex, and Peru balsam. And especially in the beginning, you get this biscuit smell, exactly like a cracker, like a sweet, I'm salivating, like a sweet, perfectly crisp cracker or biscuit with cocoa powder on top. And then comes this quite nuttiness from the coffee. Sometimes I think coffee has this nutty vibe to it, together with this quite fluffy, powdery marshmallow. And I think the marshmallow note is what gets louder and louder as the scent dries down. And the biscuit accord fleets the scene. And this is why it gets this feeling of what a lot of those, as I said, indie gourmand scents smell on my skin at least. But still you have this faint biscuit touch, and you also always have the cocoa and this almost like a mochaccino, coffee, cocoa type of essence to it, which I love. I think it is supposed to smell like s'mores, but I've never had s'mores in my life, so I can only guess what it's supposed to smell like. And I think they nailed it, because it also maybe is lacking a little bit of like a smoky aspect, which I think s'mores tend to have. Also, because it doesn't have it in there, it's a little bit more edible and gourmand. So you have to like literal gourmands to like it. And also you have to like this marshmallow powderiness to like it. And what I love about this perfume is the longevity, because as I said, I've tried loads of those very small indie houses, and a lot of times either the performance is beast mode or they are lacking in the performance department. And this one has quite a nice longevity. And also I do not want it to be a lot more loud, because then it would be too much for me. Next up, we have this gem right here, which is from Trussardi. And it has a very long name, but I'm only going to say it is called Emanuele 2. And this is from the more privé line. And it actually does not have a cocoa chocolate note to it. But to me, it just smells so chocolatey and yummy that I'm going to share it with you anyway. So the main accords are gourmand, sweet, creamy, floral, and spicy. And the notes are hazelnut, coffee, cinnamon, tuberose, coconut, jasmine, white musk, vanilla absolute, and cedarwood. And because this is the second perfume today with a note of coffee in there, do you want me to do a coffee perfume as well? Because I'm trying to research the best coffee scents, and I've tried so many of them, but a lot of them are not enough. They are not giving me what I want from them. So I'm still searching for some more, but let me know in the comments if you want a coffee-based perfume video. Okay, so this one to me smells like a, do you know Nutella, the chocolate spread, which is something I loved all my life and I adore it. It's so yummy. I love to have it with just like some breadsticks on like a fresh bun or a croissant, something like that. It's so yummy. And this one smells to me like a Nutella chocolate spread with very fresh white florals, and then this very elegant, almost unsweetened, creamy vanilla on a base of musk. It's so yummy and addictive, yet elegant and airy and never too much. It's just perfection, because I'm not the biggest fan, as I've told you over and over before, of tuberose, of jasmine, and together it's like danger. But in here, it's just so refined and elegant and just makes this a little bit less gourmand and a little bit more elevated. And it just smells luxurious, but it still remains this gourmand aspect to it, which I think is so special, and I've never smelled anything like it. The next perfume I have is called Bee by Ellis Brooklyn, and I just bought a discovery set of Ellis Brooklyn where I smelled Bee for the first time, and I fell head over heels in love with this perfume. So I still have my sample of it. It's so nice. It's also like nothing I have smelled before. The main accords are sweet, gourmand, spicy, resinous, and creamy. And to me, it also smells fresh. It has this freshness about it. So the notes are rum and Havana, honey, bran, absolute, cinnamon, vanilla, cocoa, absolute, and sandalwood. And this is such a beautiful, fresh honey scent that does have this kind of nutty oatmeal vibe to it. And then it gets so cozy with the cocoa and the vanilla. And as it dries down, it gets a little bit smoky to me almost. And it reminds me a little bit of By the Fireplace by Margiela. But that one is very loud and it's a little bit too much a lot of times for me. And in combination with the other notes, I like this one so much more as an everyday scent. It's so likable yet special and just comforting and cozy. The next one is Gritti Duchessa, and this is a cherry forward scent, but it has a cocoa note to it, which on my skin is quite prominent. But the main accords are sweet, fruity, gourmand, spicy, and creamy. And it has also some notes of marzipan, bitter orange, saffron, brown sugar, almond, iris, white blossoms, clove. To me, it is a sexy black cherry scent with a prominent saffron in there. And to make it a little bit more round, you have the brown sugar and the cocoa. And on my skin, it has this very prominent cherry aspect to it. You can smell the marzipan. It's quite citrusy as well from the bitter orange. There's orange zest in here. I get this floral vibe, but nothing in particular. And then almost in the background as a base, I smell, especially on my skin, oh my god. The top is marzipan and cherry. That's it. It's so good. And then you get the citrusy notes in the base. You get this almost powdered cocoa vibe, but with like a smoky or like burnt sugar note. It's so interesting, it's so sexy, it's intriguing. But what I love about this perfume is because of the citruses, because of the blossoms, it has this very freshness to it, which makes it more wearable than other perfumes with those heavy, thick, deep notes in here. Especially cherry and almond, and then the marzipan could be a little bit too much for me, but it is just the right balance. And because of the chocolate, it's just a little bit more intriguing to me. I had to include this perfume because it has chocolate in the name. It's called Chocolate Queen by Navitus Parfums in collaboration with Gabby. And this perfume is definitely not what I expected, but it's beautiful nonetheless. So I have this sample right here, and I'm not going to do the same mistake again. So I'm going to put it on my hand directly and not on a paper strip. Oh, this is so beautiful. But I feel like they didn't tell us all of the notes because I smell so much more than what the notes say. So the main accords are sweet, gourmand, creamy, woody, and spicy, with notes of dark chocolate, hazelnut, dulce de leche, chocolate fudge, Irish cream, caramel, bitter almond, pralines, vanilla, amberwood, sandalwood. To me, it has a very fresh and floral aspect to it, reminding me a lot of Emanuele Due. So if you like this perfume, I'm quite sure that you will like this one. I thought that Chocolate Queen is going to be a very heavy, sweet and thick perfume, only suiting fall and winter time. But actually I got this in the midst of the summertime, and I could even wear it during a more cold summer night because it has a very fresh and floral side to it, on my skin at least. It's definitely gourmand as well. You get this hazelnutty chocolate vibe. I even would say it has this powdery aspect to it, like a cocoa powder more so than a chocolate fudge. It's definitely like a whipped perfume, like very light and whipped, not like a thick Irish cream. I do not get that at all on my skin. And the praline in here, as I say, I don't know why, but maybe it's because I love those perfumes so much right now, but it has this sugared musk praline combination, like Maud Vanilla, like Silk Santal by Kyse. Actually, it reminds me a little bit of Silk Santal by Kyse. And it also reminds me of Soie Malakai, I think it's called, by Dries van Noten. And it's very, very good. It smells very niche and it's very complex. And as I said, I thought this is going to be a straight up edible, very sweet gourmand scent, but it's not. I think it has very mixed reviews, maybe also because a lot of people see the notes and they think it's going to be like a heavy, thick chocolate gourmand scent, but it's not. It's a lot more complex. It's very beautiful. It has this elegant vibe to it. It's so, so nice. And I'm definitely considering getting a bottle of it. The only thing is that the longevity on my skin is good, but it's not strong at all on my skin. Then we have Matcha Meditation by Margiela. This is from the Replica line. And this is a perfume that is quite hit or miss for people. And I can totally see why, because to me it is also hit or miss. I definitely have to be in the mood to wear it because it is a very particular perfume. So this is sweet floral, green, powdery and creamy with notes of green tea, matcha, orange blossom, orange, white chocolate, moss. I did not include this in my tea perfumes video because it is not one of my favorite tea perfumes. However, if you look at the chocolate side, it is just very white chocolate like. If you've ever had a matcha white chocolate, this is exactly what it smells like. Also, it reminds me of a matcha latte, maybe with some white chocolate in it. It's so photorealistic of that. I do get the orange blossom note quite a lot, and I think this is what makes it a little bit more challenging for me. But you get the matcha, you get the green tea, you get the white chocolate. It's quite powdery. It's a very fun and special perfume. And what I love is that you can get it in a small 30 milliliter size, so you don't have to get the big bottle. Of course, I had to show you one of the classics, which is Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford, which is, I would say, my favorite Tom Ford scent. It's an absolute classic. The main accords are sweet, spicy, gourmand, smoky, oriental, with notes of vanilla, tobacco, dried fruits, cocoa, ginger, resins, and tonka bean. This smells like a Christmas market to me. It's so beautiful. It's so strong, but not too overpowering. That's the nice part about it. I get this thickness, like a honey thickness, and also like dried fruits, but coated with honey or something. Then there is this very almost spicy powdered cocoa note to it, mixed up with sweet vanilla and some spiciness from the tobacco, the ginger, and maybe even something else like cloves or something. It's so Christmassy to me. It's so cozy, but it has this fruitiness to it, which makes it not as deep and heavy and suitable for day wear. I think Tom Ford perfumes a lot of times are overpriced, but this one, I have a travel size, as you can see. I think if I empty out that one, I would get the big bottle because it's just lovely. And then I have Eilish by Billie Eilish. I've shown you this perfume quite a few times because I just love it at the moment. This is quite an inexpensive perfume that doesn't smell like a typical celebrity perfume at all. Not even like a typical designer perfume, if you know what I mean. Because it is gourmand, it's sweet, it's creamy, but it has this freshness and this elegant vibe to it as well. It has notes of candied blossoms, orange, red berries, vanilla, cocoa spices, tonka bean, musk, and woods. And it's definitely a vanilla and cocoa scent, but then it's quite spicy at the same time. And what I love is that you can definitely also get the citrusy notes, the fruits, and the blossoms, which balance the fragrance out so good. And also do not make it as heavy and deep as some of the other perfumes. It's so easy to wear, it's so elegant, still interesting, it's cozy. It's not the longest wearing, but I just overspray it and then I'm good to go. I just filmed a Dora brand review, and so I was reminded of Mandorle. I still don't have a full bottle of it, but it's just so beautiful. So this has main accords of sweet, gourmand, spicy, leathery, and oriental, with notes of tonka bean, cashmere wood, suede, heliotrope, rum, woods, caramel, white musk, cocoa absolute, and vanilla. So let me spray that one again. It's so good. It's so yummy, but still not like a typical edible gourmand. It just has gourmand aspects to the scent. It is like a cherry perfume, and there's no cherry in here, but all of the notes together give this cherry vibe. And you definitely get a suede note, but in combination with those beautiful creamy notes and the florals and almost this sour fruitiness, it's just so smooth and so elegant and toned down, not too much. It's not screechy at all. It's not like a typical masculine perfume, though it is quite unisex. It's not very feminine and girly and light and airy. It definitely has the sexy, intriguing deepness to it, but still it remains quite fresh. Maybe it's the heliotrope, not too sure, but it has this freshness to it. And the cocoa, because we're speaking about chocolate and cocoa, the cocoa in here you definitely get as like a side player. It's not a main player in this scent, but it just makes it a little bit more special. And if we talk about chocolate scents, we have to talk about Cheirosa 71 by Sol de Janeiro. I think this is one of my absolute favorites when it comes to chocolate scents. Oh my god. If you like literal gourmands and you like popcorn accords, you have to look into this perfume. Or actually, it's a hair and body fragrance mist, but this is absolutely stunning. It's called caramelized vanilla and macadamia, but actually there's so much more in here. Caramelized vanilla, sea salt, toasted macadamia nut, white chocolate, tonka bean, coconut blossom. It's heavenly. It's so heavenly. You definitely have to like edible, literal gourmands to like it, because it doesn't have like a floral or citruses to balance it out. Nothing too woody in here, but still I like it. And a lot of times it would be too much for me to actually wear it, especially on its own, but I do only actually wear it on its own. And you can see I've used so much of it already, almost half of it. And this has 90 milliliters in here. It isn't the strongest fragrance to ever exist, of course, because it is a fragrance mist. But the longevity is okay for a body mist. But the scent, the smell is divine. I always tell you, to me, on my skin, it smells like a freshly popped popcorn, like a bowl of freshly popped popcorn. And then you have some salted macadamia nuts in there, drizzled with some white chocolate. It's so, so good. And when I just smelled it, it almost had this creaminess to it, like a cream, like a Greek yogurt or something like that. Like a vanilla, heavy vanilla yogurt, or something a little bit more dense, like a vanilla ice cream even. It's just simply divine and delicious, and I want to eat it, but I am not. Then I have another cheapie for you, which is something that I'm torn about. This is Coffee Addict, so it could easily be the first perfume to mention in a coffee perfumes video for sure. It is very new to my collection. I had a sample of it, which I loved and adored, and it's empty already, so I got the full bottle. But the perfume, at least right now in this temperature, it's a little bit too much for me. But I combined it with a more fresh vanilla, and then I loved it. So this is Coffee Addict by Theodoros Kalotinis, which is a Greek perfumer. And this small niche house has some great perfumes. And this one is the most popular. So the main accords are Gourmand, sweet, creamy, spicy, and the fragrance notes are coffee, caramel, cocoa, and vanilla, which sounds very beautiful to me. Let's spray it. So this to me smells like a caramel macchiato that you can get at Starbucks. This is exactly it. It's a heavy coffee scent. It's very sweet. You have to like very sweet scents. You definitely have this strong caramel note and this like cocoa powder on top and a heavy, almost whipped vanilla essence. It's so, so good. It's so photorealistic of a caramel macchiato, but this is heavy. Longevity as well as very strong. It lasted the whole day on my skin. So you definitely have to like very sweet, strong caramel perfumes to like it. But if you do, then this is so, so nice because of the combination with the coffee and the cocoa and the vanilla. Very cozy. And I think this one in wintertime, I'm going to wait until wintertime to wear it again. It's going to be top notch. The next one I have for you is called TriBeCa by Bond Number 9, which is one I wanted to try for such a long time. The main accords are sweet, gourmand, creamy, and green with notes of hazelnut, cocoa, jasmine, cedarwood, caramel, moss, and ambroxan. And if you read those notes, at least to me, it sounds a lot like the Trussardi one, but they are not that similar actually. But they have a similar vibe. To me, it smells like if you mixed in Trussardi Emanuele 2 with Cloud or Baccarat, let's say Baccarat Rouge, because it isn't as sweet as Cloud. So take Baccarat Rouge and the Emanuele 2 and then mix something very fresh and green into the mix, and then you get TriBeCa. It's very beautiful. I told you before that the Baccarat Rouge and Cloud are DNAs I love, but I just smell them so much here almost every day that I cannot get myself to wear them right now. I had to pause on those ones. But if I get something with the same vibe, but slightly different, then I'm all for it. And this just has this Baccarat Rouge vibe in the background, but then you have this coziness from the hazelnut and the cocoa and the caramel. The caramel is quite strong as well, and it's very luxurious and sophisticated smelling. And similar to Baccarat Rouge, this also has a very big sillage and quite a good performance. Not as beast mode as Baccarat Rouge on my skin, but still a very good performance. I have this decant of it, and you can see I only have a few drops left because I have been wearing it quite a few times already. I was umming and ahhing about integrating this perfume in this list, but I just smelled it before filming this video and fell in love all over again, so I had to show it to you. So I only have a decant of it. This is from Guerlain. It's called Gourmand Coquin, and it's so hard to get, but this is the most delicious smelling perfume ever. It's so good, and it mixes so many things of what I just shown you, but all into this beautiful thing called Gourmand Coquin. So this has the main accords of gourmand, sweet, spicy, powdery, and oriental, with notes of black pepper, smoked tea, rose, chocolate, and rum. So it reminds me of Tobacco Vanille. It also reminds me of Intense Café by Montale, or Gentle Fluidity Gold by MFK. And then it has this powdery chocolate in here, which makes it so yummy. And I think I've described it years ago when I showed it for the first time as I'm sitting in a cafe, I'm drinking like a chocolate with some booze in there, and there are loads of fresh roses that are just like blooming in this cafe. It has a quite smoky aspect to it. I wouldn't say it's like a smoked tea, but it has this smoky vibe, almost like a barrel with rum in it. It's so complex, so unique, so delicious and beautiful. It is a strong perfume. I have had this decant for years, and when I wear it, I only spray it 1 or 2 times, and that's enough. But it's so hard to get nowadays. But the juice is beautiful. I love the bottle. I love everything about it. I wasn't too sure if I would include this one because I do not reach for it a lot. But I do think if you talk about chocolate perfumes, you definitely think about that one. So I just thought, let's show it to you quite quickly. This is Chocolate Greedy by Montale. I have a decant of it, and I just sprayed it again to remind me of what I like about it, what I don't like about it. So this is quite a beautiful creation. For a Montale fragrance, it's actually not as heavy and deep as others, though it has a very good performance. The main accords are gourmand, sweet, powdery, and spicy, with notes of dried fruits, bitter orange, cocoa, and bourbon vanilla. And it does remind me a little bit of Tobacco Vanille in that they both share the note of the dried fruits, and especially in the top you get this burst of fruitiness mixed with the bitter orange. And then you get this powdery cocoa vibe with some slightly sweetened vanilla in there. So it is quite a fluffy and airy type of scent that still has a great performance. I just think a lot of the other perfumes in here are a little bit more complex, and this one is maybe one I would combine with other perfumes. I do not tend to reach for it, as I said, a lot of times, but still it is a classic when it comes to chocolate perfumes. And also Montale isn't a very expensive niche perfume house, which is a added plus. And the last one I'm going to show you today is one I also just thought about if I should put it in there or not, because it is quite new to my collection. It's just a sample, but I just sampled it a few weeks ago for the first time because it is so hyped up in the perfume community. I'm just quickly going to share with you what I think about it. It's not a suggestion, sadly. So this is Cacao Porcelana by Atelier Terri. I adore the bottles. I'm so intrigued by a lot of their perfumes, but this one just doesn't work on my skin. The main accords are spicy, sweet, gourmand, creamy, and woody. People say it smells similar to agave, what is it called? The Jo Malone Blue Agave and Cacao perfume, which I have in my collection. I adore that one. I do see why they compare both of those perfumes, but I like the Jo Malone a lot more. This, however, is a lot more strong than the Jo Malone one, but it's not a beast mode whatsoever. I'm not too sure if it's the tobacco, because there's tobacco in here, and the patchouli. I think those two together with the cocoa, with the rum, with the sandalwood, and also there's some jasmine in here, just don't work on my skin. Patchouli, as I said a million times before, is a note I either love or I do not like at all. And in here, it just ruins my experience. But a lot of people love it on their skin. So maybe you're going to love it because it has a beautiful white cocoa accord in there, which makes it quite cozy. But then it is a lot more deep than others I just showed you today because of the patchouli and the tobacco and the rum. But I still wanted to include it because I was sure somebody's going to ask me what I think about it. So these were the chocolate perfumes I wanted to share with you today. This was so much fun. I love my chocolate perfumes. Please let me know if you have others that you would recommend to me, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!